pomegranates. Nice. They all fell. Okay. Still looks good though. Yeah, but it's not just that. It's like the stitching is excellent. Really? Okay. We got a couple minutes.
We do.
And the flowers are gorgeous.
Thank you.
Or do you have ants all over your house now? Mm. So what do? You immerse them in water or
You're
something?
supposed to immerse them in water and then outside give them a couple passes But
Yeah, but
you did on water first, even.
But do you have to cut it to do that? How do you do that? You like dig it up from the roots?
No. You like put them in a couple.
Oh, got it. But the ants help open it though.
They can, but it'll actually go up on the gums.
Oh, okay. Oops.
So now he's trying to put it right in the heart of the so the rain will
Oh.
because this is
Oh, I see. And it's the hard rain, not just. They need water, but it's like the windy rain. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's 7:30.
Yeah.
Well, Shabbat Shalom. And welcome to Adith Emanuel on this third Friday of the month of May, where we are delighted that Lucas Bennett is with us to lead our music or accompany our music on guitar. And we're also on the cusp of celebrating one of our own becoming a bat mitzvah tomorrow, Livy Brill. Delighted that you can be here. And it's Shabbat. For those of you who are here physically with us and those of you who are joining us through the blessing of technology. And if you are, just say Shabbat Shalom, tell us where you are watching from and joining us this evening. We open our service this evening with the singing of Eivenu Shalom Aleichem, which you can find in your Siddur on page 600. Oops, we have to get the, 644, 644.
Eivenu Shalom Aleichem, Eivenu Shalom Aleichem, Eivenu Shalom Aleichem, Eivenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, Eivenu Shalom Aleichem, Eivenu Shalom Aleichem, Eivenu Shalom Aleichem. Eivenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem.
We turn now to page 120 for the lighting and blessing of our Shabbat candles, page 120 in our Siddur, and it's my pleasure to call the Brill family to the Bima to lead us in our lighting and blessing.
Kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehad likner shel Shabbat.
Amen. And we turn now in our Siddur to page 123, as we continue with the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yon tehila lemigra'e kodesh zeher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'harta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodeshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim.
Chaim. And so we turn now in our Siddur to page 138. Page 138, as we welcome in Shabbat with Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Verse number 1. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Kishmiyanu elam yuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, Shemo tiferet v'tfila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Verse 2. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Please rise and face the doors to welcome the Sabbath bride. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובשולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה, lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. lecha Dodi, לקראת כלה, בני שבת
take a moment while we're standing to turn to somebody, perhaps not next to you if you already know that person, but somebody in front of you, behind you, or you didn't get a chance to greet yet. Introduce ourselves and greet one another. Shabbat Shalom. And if you're watching through the blessing of technology, you can say hello and greet one another in the chat. As we continue, we turn now to our prayer cards. We continue with Baruch Hu as we remain standing. Am I awake?
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch hu Adonai, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed, Le'olam Va'ed. Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai. Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai.
We continue on page 266.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
On page 269, we read responsively. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all, yet that oneness eludes our grasp as imperfection and evil abound. Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul. When will redemption come? When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves. Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. We turn now to our prayer Hashkivenu, that prayer in which we praise God for protecting us at night. You can find it on your prayer card on the right-hand side, the front sheet, Hashkivenu.
Give us a place to rest our head, God. Help us understand that you're right here. When we sleep throughout the night and wake with morning's light, we know you're right here. Me way come and go. We may come and go, come and go. We're not alone. Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Leshalom. Ve'amidenu, Shomrei Eloheinu, Ashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Leshalom. Ve'amidenu, Shomreinu, Lekayim. Ashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Leshalom. Ve'amidenu, Shomreinu, Lekayim.
We continue on page 272, page 272 with Vishamru.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
As we are able, we rise for tefillah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor VaNorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד אתה. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומק נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני בחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
May be seated. We turn to page 281 as we read responsively. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise. For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being. For all these things, O Sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon, kol השלום, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם.
We continue our prayer now silently, whether we are led by the words on the pages of our Siddur through page 285 or other prayers throughout our prayer book, or those meditations and thoughts in our hearts.
ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו
We turn our thoughts and our prayers now to those who are in need of healing, and so we turn in our Siddur to page 371 in the middle of the page. As we're thinking of those who are in need of healing, if you're watching through the blessing of technology and would like to mention the names of those people whom you're thinking of at this time, please feel free to add their names to the chat. Those here in the sanctuary will have an opportunity to add names after I share these people in our extended Adith Emanuel family to whom we send blessings of healing. Alice Oppenheimer, Marlene Kaplan, Amanda Fink-Krasner, Deb Nielsen, Moshe Ben Elizabeth Theodore, Rosalie Middleman, Jennifer Ness, Marcy Gittler, Mel Klein, George Goldstein, Harriet Eisner, Carla Teisch, Linda Drachman, Chaim Ben David, Eileen Davison, Craig Davison, Hugh Morton, Art Bond, Roberta Levine, Jordan Steinberg, Lisa Galda, Ed Crosby, Myra Kaplan, Jeff Schaefer, Lulu Ruvuela, Marion Gwertz, Aaron Tepper, Lily Tepper, Louis Alahut, Tricia Tepper, Carol Schaefer, Mary Mednitsky, Jocelyn Jackson, Jen Jones, Shirley Friedlander, Michael Infanti, Gary Garnick, Ann Marsden, Rick Ulrich, Ileana Cohn, and others whose names we might add at this time. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei HaCholim.
מי שברוך אבותינו מקור הברכה לימודנו. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us by the
close your books.
That expression, "you may close your books," comes from my rabbi and mentor of blessed memory, Rabbi Mark S. Shapiro, and I was just speaking today with a colleague who was also Rabbi Shapiro's associate, and I kind of feel Rabbi Shapiro's presence with us as each of us had a conversation of different words we repeat in the rabbis we are today because of having Rabbi Shapiro as our mentor. As we start a new book in the Torah this week, Bamidbar, which we call in English the Book of Numbers, I think about the expression that Jews are often referred to as people of the book. Do you know where that expression, people of the book, comes? You might be surprised, as was I, to learn that its origins come from Islam. Jerusalem Post journalist Alan Rosenbaum explains, Islam categorized the Jew as people of the book, meaning those who possessed an earlier revelation from God that was written down. The term most often refers to the intimate connection between the Jews and the Torah. And we can extend that connection to the Tanakh, the whole Hebrew Bible, and books and texts which came thereafter, such as the Talmud, commentaries, codes. While the expression people of the book came from an outside source, it is a title which our community has embraced and even taken pride in ourselves in our relationship to books. Judaism values education, reading, learning, expressing curiosity by asking questions in order to learn more. Which why I was astonished, but not surprised, when I learned earlier this week of Florida's plan to ban books about the Holocaust. The Jewish Telegraphic Agency reported that Florida's state education department rejected 2 new Holocaust-focused textbooks for classroom use, while forcing at least one other textbook to alter a passage about the Hebrew Bible in order to meet state approval. The books were rejected as part of a broader review of new K-12 social studies material. Under Governor Ron DeSantis, the state has made an effort to clamp down on what he calls woke indoctrination, mostly regarding race and gender. The textbook's rejection is the latest example of how that drive is affecting Jewish topics as well. This past Monday, Adith Emanuel's Social Action Social Justice Committee hosted a very important program that addressed censorship and the national trend in our country of censoring books. Amy Penwell, school library media specialist, shared with us how most of the books that are being challenged by school boards to remove not only from the curricula, from school libraries and public libraries, local libraries, are ones that address themes connected to LGBTQ+ and race, and in some instances, violence. In that case, the Book of Numbers would make a great candidate for banning for its topics relating to sex, race, and violence in Torah portions such as Naso, Behalotecha, Korach, and Pinchas, where we find a ceremony for the accusations of the adulterous wife, oppositional gossip about Moses' wife, who is a Cushite, a dark-skinned colored woman, mutiny against Moses by Korach and the subsequent consequences, including tens of thousands of deaths and the impaling of an interfaith couple during the moment of intimacy. But like a good champion of banning books, I take all these examples out of context. Amy Penwell shared with us the reasons that book banning is so dangerous, beyond the obvious reasons of freedom of speech. When we ban books which portray a protagonist that is gay or trans or black or Latinx or Asian or Native America or Jewish or with a disability and their life experiences, we suppress their existence. Often, people looking to ban books are not considering what's best for the children learning it or reading it, especially those who might see themselves and their realities in those books. These books affirm the reality in which the readers live. And when we wipe out the book, we wipe out their worlds. Book banning in this way contributes to worsening the mental health of individuals in these populations. For example, the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, has cited that experiences of racism among youth have been linked to poor mental health, academic performance, and lifelong health risk behaviors. Also, Amy Penwell noted, when we read books about people, especially people who might be different from us, it teaches us empathy for the other. Judaism has a deep tradition of teaching kindness and love, not only to our neighbors, but also to strangers. Ki gerim hayitem be'eretz Mitzrayim, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. People who have banned books have always been on the wrong side of history. What inspires them towards such censorship? They argue that they are afraid of who certain books might offend. For example, in one place in which the Diary of Anne Frank was censored, it was banned based on the argument that it makes people feel bad. Isn't that the point? I think of the quote of Heinrich Heine, a German Jewish poet who in 1821 wrote, "Where they burn books, they will ultimately burn people also." His prophetic words came to fruition over 100 years later in the 1930s in Germany under the Nazi regime. Banning books is one step in the process of creating a culture that does not allow the minority voice to be heard. We cannot let the identities of others be made invisible, and we cannot wait. As German pastor Martin Niemöller learned of his own complicity during the Holocaust, and then taught the lesson that he learned following the atrocities. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Well, they are coming for us, for Jews, and more so for LGBTQ plus identifying Jews and Jews of color, especially in Florida. And it's not too late to speak out for ourselves and for others. We cannot remain indifferent. And there are multiple ways we can take action. Speaking to you tonight is one of my ways. Please spread the word. Other ways to get involved are as simple as reading banned books, support libraries and librarians, and if you have the capacity, become involved with school boards to be sure that this doesn't happen in our locale. Let the educators decide, and not the so-called caring parents who are hiding behind a thin veil of racism, homophobism, and sexism, and more. Go on to the Fight for the First website. Fight for the First, as in the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Fight for the First website and sign the New Jersey petition. And the name of the petition is Make the Garden State, the state of Garden, G-U-A-R-D-I-N apostrophe, the state of Garden intellectual freedom. Make the Garden State the state of Garden intellectual freedom. Fight for the First is an organization helping to organize people locally to combat book banning in their area via petitions, campaigns, and more. One of the books that has been challenged across the country is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. A year ago in Houston, Texas, a parent challenged this book to be removed from the curriculum based on its subject matter, including drug and alcohol use as well as rape. The parent claimed it would morally corrupt the minds of all who read the novel. Well, I checked out an auto copy from the library and have already begun. It's not about the book. It's about the efforts to ban books. It's about how one parent or a small group of parents want to make a decision about what's appropriate to read, not just for their own children, but for all children. Stephen Chbosky, the author of The Perks of Being a Wallflower, reminds us of the dangers of book banning. Banning books gives us silence when we need speech. It closes our ears when we need to listen. And it makes us blind when we need sight. We Jews are people of the book. Our Jewish values teach us to read, learn, and expand our minds, to be empathetic and compassionate, to be kind to others, and not to oppress those who are different from us. Ve'ahavtem et hager, ki gerim heitem be'eretz Mitzrayim. Open your heart with love for the stranger, for you were a stranger too in the land of Egypt. Shabbat Shalom.
Someday I'm gonna make it happen. Someday I'm gonna make it happen. Someday I'm gonna make it happen. But if not now, someday I'm gonna make it happen. Someday I'm gonna make it happen. Someday I'm gonna make it happen, but if not now, then when? So many people talking, they shake their heads, say the world's not working. So many people talking, but they don't do a thing. At the end of the day, I don't wanna say I could've lived my life that way. Oh no, at the end of the day, I don't wanna say that I coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't, and now it's just too late. Someday I'm gonna make it happen. Someday I'm gonna make it happen. Someday I'm gonna make it happen, but if not now, then when? So many people watching, they watch the world through a box that's talking. So many people watching their lives on ABC, BBC, MTV, CNN. When does it end? At the end of the day, I don't want to say I could have lived my life that way. Oh no, at the end of the day, I don't want to say that I could have, would have, should have, didn't, and now it's just too late. Oh, 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 why do we wait? Why do we hesitate? We give a little too much too late. We paralyze our minds by the things we've never done before. You're gonna keep on looking out the window, or you're gonna open up the door. Someday I'm gonna make it happen. Someday I'm gonna make it happen. Someday I'm gonna make it happen, and if not now, then when? And let's say someday we're gonna make it then when?
We turn now to page 570, as we count those days in between Passover and Shavuot. We count a week of weeks for a total of 49, and we are down in the home stretch. As we say together, Hineni muchan umizuman lekayem mitzvat aseh shel sfirat haomer. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. And Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Our praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer. Hayom arba'a v'arba'im yom shehem shisha shavuot u'shnei yamim la'omer. This is the 44th day, making 6 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. And we turn now in our Siddur to page 586 and 587. As we are able, we rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון החול, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המנם, אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמן והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We turn our thoughts and prayers now to those who are no longer with us. And so we turn to page 593. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled. It burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance, and our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. As we turn now in our Siddur to pages 598 and 599, we think of our loved ones who are no longer with us, those whom death has recently taken from us. We remember Mary Jane Mullen, friend of many from Lenape High School, and those who died at the season in years past: Esther Alpert, Gloria Berman, Scott Halpern, Harry Leibowitz, Pat Leopold, Frank Piniella, Marcy Pomerantz, Andrea Price Goldsmith, Hyman Rabinowitz, Molly Reifer, Marvin Rosenfeld, Pearl Rosenzweig, Hinda Samost, Irving Schaefer, Herman Siegel, Elmer Spraden, Maurice Trappel, Louis Walensky, Lou Della Woodruff, Jean Young. And others, names that we'd like to add at this time. If you're watching through the blessing of technology, feel free to add those names in the chat or comments. If there are other names you'd like to add here in the sanctuary, I invite you to rise to say those names aloud. We invite those who are in the period of Shiva and Shloshim during these first 30 days, or those observing the first year of period of mourning, to rise at this time. Those who are observing a yahrzeit to rise at this time. And we rise now as one congregation in comfort and support as we think of all those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach yiruteh v'amlich malchuteh, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam omei maya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitdar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudusha b'riachu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, Huya aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, amen. You may be seated. And it's my pleasure to call to the bima Brian Sattinger to share with us some hodaot, some announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi Memes Fuller. Shabbat Shalom. And thank you, Rabbi, Cantor Sandy, and Lucas for leading tonight's beautiful service. Thank you to, I believe, Judy, Gail, and Helen set up the oneg, so thank you very much for doing that. Thank you all for coming, and of course, a special mazel tov to Olivia and her wonderful family on the occasion of her bat mitzvah tomorrow evening. Tomorrow morning, 8:45, there's a Torah Talk and Bagels get together, and then a Simply Shabbat morning service starting at 10 a.m. And Olivia will be called to the Torah at 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. Mazel tov again. And there is a lot going on this week. Sunday morning, May 21st at 11 a.m. We'll be celebrating the 25th anniversary of our move into this building. We started at 11 in the traffic circle out here with a dedication of the rain garden, a burial of a time capsule, and afterwards we're going to have a barbecue, lots of food and drink. Please come, everyone's invited. This Thursday evening is the beginning of the Shavuot holiday. Erev Shavuot is Thursday night. We'll be hosting the local Burlington County rabbis for a panel discussion called How Do We Do Jewish?, which begins at 7:45. And the next morning, our wonderful confirmation class will be confirmed, starting at 10 a.m., I believe, 10 a.m. Friday morning. So please join us for that as well. And Shabbat Shalom.
This is the last Shabbat, not just of counting the Omer, but of, if you wanted to share a time capsule memory, these are in the, you can look for these, they are on the table in the foyer. And just give them to me when you're done. Our closing song is Litakein by Dan Nichols, and we're going to learn it.
And it is not in your books, but when we get to the Hebrew, you'll look at me and we'll just go back and forth with it. But we'll start with the most ancient of Hebrew words, na, na, na.
Na, na, na.
Let me hear it again. Na, na, na.
Na, na, na,
Na, na, na.
na, na, na.
There we go. And this is a song where we're thanking God for giving us the opportunity to mend the world. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam. Eloheinu melech haolam. Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai. Eloheinu melech. Eloheinu melech haolam. Shenata lanu.
Shenatan lanu,
He's damnut.
he's damnut,
Litakein.
litakein,
Et haolam. Et
Et
haolam. Na, 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 na. Na, na, na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na.
Please join me in Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon and Shabbat shalom.